All right, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 18th episode of the House Talks podcast. Today, you got just us.
And chocolate.
And chocolate. There is chocolate as well. Not for you guys, but we're going to be taste testing that in the future.
It matches my bionic arm, the color of the chocolate. We're color coordinating. Look. Blue. Boom.
I think you need like a handicap sign on your back. It's also blue. Fully matched, bro.
Karn thinks it's still winter wearing his rain jacket indoors.
Hey man, listen, I can't wear a whole lot of things with this freaking bionic arm thing going on. So this is one of the things that's baggy and comfortable. So
Does it hurt when you put it on your arm?
Not as much anymore. It used to, but it's all right.
You gotta come back with the fashion trend you started a few years ago, the stringers. Just bionic arm in your stringers.
Nipples out, baby.
With half a nipple showing on one side only.
For those who saw the first episode, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Anyways, we digress. Hunter, please continue.
We're going to clip that one real quick. But yes, exciting week. New business has been incorporated. Just waiting for the paperwork to get back. And one of the things that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks.
What business is it, Connor? Your own?
Yeah, so this is going to be my own. So this is going to be like a marketing advertisement agency, I guess you could say. And yeah, people might be a little intimidated and not know how to start a business, but speaking from experience, it's a lot easier than people might think. And my biggest recommendation is if anybody's thinking of starting a business, just have conversations with friends that already have one, because they went through the exact same thing.
For sure. And it's kind of ridiculous that they don't teach you this when you're in grade 11, 12. This along with taxes, you're just looking at it like, all right, you're just setting us down the path of, okay, get an education, get a career, but no one actually teaches you how to get into that business realm, which is taking over the world by storm right now, right? So we're going to try and help, but
We're still learning ourselves.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the best ways to learn is through experience, and it's not going to be flawless. You're going to make mistakes, but that's all part of learning.
How was the process of getting your business incorporated?
Dude, super easy. So personally, I used a third party called Owner. They're in partnership with RBC. So this is Canadian based for anybody listening. So for any Americans or anybody outside of Canada, not exactly sure how to do it. But if you're in Canada, I used a company called Owner. And so what it was is to file an incorporation by yourself, it's going to cost around $350 worth of filing fees. So what Owner did is did all the filing for me, and as long as I sign up for an RBC business account, the price is $350. If I don't, they add another $300 on top of that.
So each bank has their own type thing.
Yeah, so each bank kind of has their own type thing, but it was super easy. Like it literally took me 2-3 minutes to fill out.
What's this media page called?
So I don't know yet. So I had to file with 3 different names, 3 different options names. CGS Collective is number 1.
So that's the thing too. One thing.
BCC Incorporated.
Exactly. So that's the one thing. You can incorporate your business, guys, but when it comes to having that name that you want, it may not always be, the exact name that you're looking to do business, just because it may resemble an existing business. However, the way that you can get around it is this. You can register your business. Let's just say if Connor doesn't get CGS Collective. Yes? If Connor doesn't get CGS Collective, but he wants to name it that, he could, let's just say he could register his business as CGS, CGS Media Corporation, number 1, 2, 3, whatever. Let's just say, as an example. But he could do his DBA, which stands for do business as, could be CGS Collective. And that's
what we have too for our shop too.
Exactly.
Right?
Even for us as the supplement house, that's what we have as well. And then of course there's a different conversation that comes around of trademarking your name and things like that.
Copywriting, yeah.
Yeah, copywriting and stuff like that. Which I would say is when you first start a business, you don't really have to worry about that, right, guys? When you're starting your business, like I know, let's just say you're starting a beverage company or a energy drink company, you're thinking, oh my God, I'm competing with Monster, I'm competing with Red Bull and things like that. But no, honestly, you're not at the beginning. So don't worry about these broader issues. Just incorporate your business, right? Get down the name that you have, the one that you want to run with. get your marketing down, get all those basic stuff down, and then when it comes to the copyright, the more and more you scale, then you can start worrying about those things.
And that's a problem for down the line, and it is a process that takes about a year to 2 years to even get something trademarked or copyrighted. So if you're going to do that at the start and slow your business down from the growth that you might get in that first year, it's not worth it. We saw that with the supplement house. We did business for a year. At that point, we were like, you know what, maybe it's something we look into, but there's always ways around it and ways to shorten those timelines, but everything comes with time. You don't want to build faster than you're ready for, and you don't want to focus on problems that aren't problems that are on hand at that time.
What do you feel about slogans? Say if you're a good slogan, like I think elevate your health for us, I think it suits us very well. Like copywriting that, because we did notice someone else put that on their bio afterwards. And then obviously we did, it's in the works. We did try copywriting, but it said a 1.5 year wait.
Of course, personally, what I would feel is that it's at the beginning stages, unless you're gonna base your entire business off of that slogan, then of course you trademark it and go through those hurdles of getting it copyrighted, so make sure no one else can use it. But even then, that's its own that's its own ball game, right? But I feel like at the beginning, like getting like your systems down and getting your business up and running is far more important than just worrying about the name and making sure no one else is going to use it. Because if you spend so much energy on that, then it kind of takes away from actually developing and building your business. But good point, Jazzy. Don't get me wrong. Like if you have something unreal like that, Elevate Your Health, the supplement house.
I mean, we did change ours from the beginning.
Yeah, we changed our shoes. That's what I mean, right? What if we had copyrighted that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would have been a waste as well.
What was our first one again?
The first one was Nutrition Made Easy.
Nutrition Made Easy.
So that's the thing. I feel like at the beginning, don't worry so much about it, because even great companies have remarketed themselves.
They rebrand themselves all the time. Yeah.
Exactly. Rebrand themselves. Like look at Facebook, Meta, right?
And copywriting and trademarking comes into play when you're a multi-million-dollar company, not when you're just first up and running.
You're still trying to establish yourself, right? Yeah.
Into that market itself. It's not something you need to worry about.
You guys are working on rebranding your guys' business too, right?
Yeah, we just rebranded even that. So we were talking about the names. We're Meritus Group, but our name is registered as Meritus Property Group, because you can't just have something generic like group in the name. You have to actually have a business name incorporated with the actual premise of your business. So say we're doing property developments, you want to have property, land development, something along those lines in the name, so you can actually get it incorporated. Otherwise they'll just send it back.
So guys, let's dumb that down for viewership, just to make it very, very simple what we're saying. I've noticed, because we understand this now because this is basic knowledge for us, but
it wasn't at one point, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. Like, this is very common language for us, but let's make it as simple as possible as we can for those who are looking to start a business and just thought it was a very impossible task to do. So let's break it down simple. So what's the first step? Connor, go from there. Take it off.
So the first step that I did was, well, you can always look and see what business names are registered and stuff like that. But if you want to scrap that, you literally just go on and register your business.
Where do you go to check that?
What was it? The BC Business Registry, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And so you can go there and you can see the names that are registered, and just see like, hey, like this is what I want. It's not on the list, so it's probably available. Or if you see it there, then you got to go with option B.
But you submit 3 names, right? Roughly.
Yeah. So I had 3 name options. So for me, it was CGS Collective, and then it was CGS Media Collective, and then it was CGS Media. Those were the 3 names that I chose. And so figured one of those, I looked them all up. They were all available. And so just hoping that the first one falls through. And if it doesn't, option B. If it doesn't, option C, and that's fine.
But you can still go by what you want if your name's not available.
Absolutely. And then, if a year down the road I want to switch it up, there's always that option as well.
That's step 1.
The business name, right?
What is step 2?
Step 2 is... Well, I think before any of these steps, you got to make sure you have a business plan, right? And so as long as you have that in place, for myself, I had the name that I wanted in place. I understood that I wanted a corporation. It wasn't a limited company. It wasn't a sole proprietorship. Trying to figure out how you want to structure the business is important as well. Because if you're, let's just say, you're a personal trainer, you have a few clients, maybe a sole proprietorship is just easier for you, and you don't have to deal with the issue of business taxes and filing it as a corporation. So you got to figure out what structure is good for you as well, right? And then after that, as soon as you get it in place, like, just action. Like, the biggest thing we've talked about is just, you got to file the paperwork. You just got to get everything going, and then you're gonna end up like me, and I'm just waiting probably a day or two. Business will be registered and be good to go.
Yeah, and even with that, sit down with your accountant, a lawyer, notary, whatever you feel comfortable with spending wise, and actually get those options down pat. Because at the end of the day, as you grow as a business, all those options are going to change. Like, we're incorporated, but we also have a limited partnership as well on our businesses, because that's another step in your next evolution of your business. So it's not that you'll just end up at a corporation and say, okay, I'm done here. There's so many other ways to go around it, and so many other ways to actually streamline your business and figure out your taxes and how you're going to write things off and how you're going to operate in the bigger picture. But that comes down the line when you are, say, a multi-million-dollar company and you have that traction within your market itself. Your business is going to change completely at that point, which is a problem for down the line. But for this talk in general, we're just talking about the startup of a corporation, whether that's incorporated, limited, whatever it may be. Talk to a lawyer, talk to an accountant. They will be able to incorporate for you, but I'm pretty sure through BC Registries, you can do the same thing that you did through, what was that company? Owner, yeah. Yeah, you could do the same thing through BC Registries, where you just get a numbered company, and then you do the name change at a further date.
Absolutely. I mean, you can think of it as education, sitting down with a lawyer or accountant or something like
Exactly.
that. People will drop 20, 40, 60 grand on school, no problem, but they won't spend $1,000 to sit down with a lawyer beforehand.
Or an accountant.
Sure that they're doing it right. Or, a couple different lawyers, different accountants, making sure that you're talking to people who have, their jobs are literally to make sure that everything's up and up on businesses. So, if you don't know what you're doing, either sit down with somebody, friends or family who's in the industry, or pay somebody and sit down with them, learn what they have to offer.
Yeah.
Right?
And even then, you're looking at it on a business aspect type of thing. You always want to sit down with a lawyer before you start anything, because you don't want to have legal trouble down the road, especially if you're partnering with someone or you're just opening up a new brand. You don't want legal troubles within the first year or 2 years of opening up, and then you're forking out all the profits you made to a lawyer.
Yeah, you want to know your boundaries too, right?
Exactly,
what you can do, what you can't do.
Like, even for us three, we opened up the corporation was already opened up, but our actual split, what we were doing, what our agreement was between the three of us, we sat down with a lawyer, we got that all down pat, got the documents done, paid everyone that we needed to make sure that was all set in stone, and then we went from there, right? So it doesn't matter who you're working with. If you have friends in the industry, I don't think you'll regret spending $1,000, $2,000 on a lawyer and an accountant who's going to set you down that right path.
Exactly, guys. And even when it comes down to, let's just say you don't have the $1,000 right now to even get started to go talk with a lawyer. You're just starting your own company and you want to incorporate it. Well, what are the benefits in corporation, becoming a corporation? First and foremost is, well, there's tax breaks, right? And it's the other one is separating yourself personally, your liability from your business, right? So you and your business are two separate entities, meaning, God forbid something happens, right? Someone comes after you, your business, they cannot come after you personally.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your home because something happened to your business.
Exactly, right? The other part of that is obviously different tax breaks, right? Let's just say you are a sole proprietor and you absolutely killed it that year. You know what I mean? You're doing hundreds of thousands of sales or over 100K, whatever it is. Now you're going to get taxed on that on your personal
Close to 50%.
Yeah, and that's huge, right? Whereas when you are incorporated, your corporation is now bringing in that money, and you are taking out a dividend or a salary from your revenue, and there's tax implications there where you can benefit from, right? But like Arvin said, is of course talking with a lawyer, talking with an accountant, is very beneficial at that point. When you reach that point, and honestly, if you're making a couple $100K, if you don't have that much overhead, that should be very, very easy to do.
Exactly, and that money you save on your taxes, whether you're incorporated or you're just doing business on your own name, you're gonna save probably 20% in taxes, which you can put back into your business at the end of the day.
It's the name of the game, saving
Yeah.
taxes, man.
And that's more money you get to put back into the business at the end of the day.
100%. Pay the tax man, but of course, just play the game the right way. Play the game the right way to keep as much money into your business so you can scale your business, which brings us now to the next point.
But I was gonna tie on something there. So even if you're doing business with your friends, like how we are, don't ever like feel hesitant to not see a lawyer just because they're your homie or whatever it is. It's better to just get the lawyer, get everything divided up evenly instead of just talking about like go, it's okay, bro, we're friends, like I'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's just better just to get it divided up, just do it, to get the paperwork down. Like obviously you're not gonna can your buddy at the end of the day. If you're doing business with your friend, you're gonna be equal. You're gonna have to show the love.
Yeah.
But it's better to just get everything set in place.
Less confusion down the road too, right?
Exactly.
Like you're not fighting over stuff that's already written down.
Exactly.
You all know what you're gonna get at the end of the day, and you're not fighting over it. Obviously, with us, we all know what our deal was at the start of it. We could care less. It was about the business, but at the end of the day, you never know when someone's going to get the wrong advice from someone else outside of the business, and they're going to flip a switch and say, well, I think, this isn't really working for me. You don't have paperwork in place. They have every right to bring those points up, right? So you don't want to be stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Your personal life and your friendship, you don't want
Yeah.
to choose, right? If it's set in stone, you know what's there.
I mean, that should always be separate anyway.
Always.
Friendships, business, family, this and that should always be. That's probably a conversation for another day. But I mean,
That was the first thing we said to each other. We're like, our friendship is on one side, the business is on one side. We're never going to let them override each other.
And if it does, we're selling it right away. So for all of our supporters and followers that are not in Abbotsford, not available to come in our store, we are now online, www.supplementhouse.ca. We do have a buy one, get one half sale going on.
our goal has always been to make healthy choices affordable, guys. That is always going to be our goal. So look out. We got a lot of exciting things coming your way.
All right, boys, next conversation here. Scaling our business. What do you guys have to say about that? It's not our business, any business out there. What are you?
Yeah, so we can obviously give some input based on our business, but the scaling a business. So what is that? So that's enabling the growth of your business without putting it in harm's way, right? Because one thing that happens is when you're scaling your business, so growing your business, is that sometimes you can grow too quick. And when you grow too quick, what happens is that you can't keep up with demand. When you're putting too much resources into your growth, it can jeopardize
The quality.
the quality, the debt that you have, because when you first start a business, like the chances are you are putting money into it. So you're starting off with some kind of debt. And once you're putting more and more money into growing your business because you're trying to keep up with demand, that debt, the ratio between the debt and the growth, right? The debt keeps on growing and the growth is slowly growing, right?
Your revenue can't outperform your revenue has to outperform your debt. You can't
Exactly.
be growing your debt at the same rate as your revenue. Otherwise,
Exactly. And I would say for 95, 99% of businesses, that is the case, right? Doesn't matter if you're selling shirts or, selling supplements such as us. You really got to get a control of that. One of our future guests on the show, actually an owner of a supplement company that we work with, one of the most profound things, or not, I guess I can't even really call it profound, but one of the greatest things that I heard from him was that control your growth, guys. And if you're able to do that, then you won't really face those problems where you're kind of like, oh, you're trying to throw so much money in towards marketing and your supply to keep up with the growth, and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, now our debt has grown so much. And honestly, we have faced that ourselves as well. Hey boys?
100%. We look at it in that aspect. It's you always have to have a certain goal in mind. You can't just go in and say, okay, my business is doing good now, so I got to put money back in and I got to keep growing. At a certain point in time, you have to look at it and say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where my 5-year plan was. This is where my 10-year plan was. This is where my 15 is. If you're reaching those goals sooner than you'd expect, get back to the drawing board and say, you know what, okay, this happened, so how do I grow my revenue further without adding too much debt to that as well? Because at the end of the day, you add more debt, that's the death of your business. If you grow too fast on that end of things and you're not growing your revenue just as fast, your business is going to go out of business real fast. We've seen it with a supplement company not too long ago, BioSteel. They put all their resources, R&D into one product. They had a lot of marketing costs because they were the partner with the NHL. You look at that and you say, okay, what did they do wrong in their growth that they now went out of business and someone else purchased them for pennies on the dollar? You have to look at it where they put so much into that, where they accumulated so much debt that now they weren't making enough revenue to match that. You have to match your revenues with the amount of debt you're creating, but you also have to double that, because at the end of the day, your finances are going to be restricted as a business owner. But if your debt's accumulating and your revenues aren't showing that, yeah, you can hold that on for a year, 2 years, but to say you can hold on to that debt for 5 years is unthinkable.
Yeah, for a business, if your debt's up here and your revenue's up here, there's no point of a business. You're literally in debt. Yeah, your business might be looking like it's doing good, but are you making money? No. You're literally paying off your debt, and then from that debt's getting bigger because you're marketing more growth, and then it's just a revolving cycle. And then what's the point of being a business owner if you're just paying debt your whole time?
And then it turns out you're like not even scaling at the end.
No
of it,
scaling.
really.
You're just literally just debt growth, debt growth, debt growth, and that debt's gonna be so big you're not gonna pay off in 5 years.
Yeah, and that's where you see businesses filing for bankruptcies. You're doing this or that. At the end of the day, you have to be comfortable with where your business is at, and that's where you look at even the supplement shop. We're lucky first year went beyond what we thought it would go, but we made those same mistakes where we added that debt and we wanted to grow beyond what our forecast was. And now we learned those lessons, so we go, you know what, we get it, but at the end of the day, we have to look at the bigger picture. What's our 10-year plan? Yeah, we outgrew our 5-year plan within the first 2 years, but now year 3, we took a step back. So realistically, you're still not at your 5-year goal because you took on so much debt. You can't have that in business where you forecast the grass is always greener on the other side, but if you don't water it on your side, it's obviously going to happen. So water your side of the grass, grow as your business grows, and your business will always reap those benefits at the end of the day, because you're putting the time, the effort, the resources into it, but you're also growing at the pace that you set for yourself.
100%. And the other part of that is like, be honest with yourself too. What are you trying to do with your business? If you're trying to build a brand, that takes a long time to do, right? You're likely not going to build a brand unless you're very lucky within the first 2 years, 3 years of building your business. As business owners, you are pretty much in control of a lot of different tangibles, a lot of different things. But one thing you are not in control of is time, right? Father Time remains undefeated. You cannot control that part of it. Of course, when you're doing the little things for a long period of time, it is compounding, right?
Unless you're a time traveler, like The Simpsons.
Yeah, unless you're time traveling like The Simpsons. Exactly.
We gotta find out who time travels.
Yeah, we gotta find out who
Let us know,
travels.
man.
Yeah, The Simpsons guys.
We would love to time travel with you.
Exactly. We would love to find out the new trends and what's going on.
Honestly, I don't even care about the monetary gain. It would be pretty cool.
But aside from that, it's like, be honest, like if you want to start a business and you just want to make enough to pay your bills and like, take maybe like a 60K, 80K salary out of your business and just live a good life, then do that, man. Just be honest with yourself, right? But just don't say that those really are your desires, but you want to build a brand, you want to do this and that. And I'm not just saying that because you're going to piss me off or my partners here off, but the main part of that is that you are going to hurt your own growth. If you're trying to build a brand, you think you're trying to build a brand, but in reality, you're just trying to make a living. Making a living and building a brand are two completely different things.
For sure. You got to be honest with yourself, right? If I say I'm going to build a brand, that's what we're trying to do with a supplement house. We're trying to build a brand. We don't care about, we do care about what's happening today and what's happening in 5 years, but our end goal isn't making 100K, 200K this year. It's about, okay, how do we make the supplement house a brand on par with the other big brands in Canada, in North America, worldwide, whatever it may be. That's what we're trying to go for, and we're not sitting here hiring employees to do all the work. I'm not in the shop as much as you two, but I'm there once a week at least. You and Jazz are in there 3-4 times a week, and you guys are making those connections. You're building that culture for the business from the top down. Everyone in our business knows that we aren't afraid of making smoothies. We're not afraid of, okay, we're going to make the smoothies. We have to wash the jugs. We have to set the shelves for the supplements. We set that standard for everyone else on the team to adhere to. And when your team sees the person at the top doing the job at the bottom, they're automatically going to give that effort without you having to ask for it, because they know you care for that business just as much, or if not more than they do. But it makes them care to a certain aspect as much as you do, because they see you doing the little jobs. I can give an example. My dad, probably 8-9 years ago, we opened up a commercial laundromat. I saw him, these are the lessons I learned from him. He was always telling me, never be afraid to do the job at the bottom of the pyramid, and never think you're as high as the job at the top. Keep yourself down here so you have that ability to grow all the way to be up here, even though you're already up there. He was there whenever an employee would get called in sick or something would go wrong with the machinery. He'd go at 9 p.m. at night sometimes, and he'd go in, put in 3-4 hours, come home at 12-1, and he'd come back home tired. He was 50 at that time. He had a full-fledged land development construction business going. He had no need for it, but it was something he put his foot in the door. He knew he wanted it to succeed, so he put in those hours, he put in the work so that no one else within that organization could say, you know what, I put in more work than you, but you're reaping all the benefits of it. He knew that at the end of the day, anyone within that organization could let go of their job and he would still be fine because he could take that task on. And that's what we're doing with the supplement house too, where we love our employees. They're amazing. They're our team. It's become a family for us. But at the end of the day, we're not afraid to do the jobs they do. We're not going to shy away from it.
They will clean the windows if it's dirty. Yeah.
They come into the shop and sometimes they come in, they're still clocking in, they're dilly-dallying around at the front, and we're in the back cleaning a blender so they don't have a mess to clean up because we're leaving the shop. And that's what scaling is. It's realizing you have to do those small things in order to get to that next evolution of your business, whether that's scaling to an online store, whether that's opening up another franchise, opening up another location. You have to put in the work and you have to put it in wholeheartedly and enjoy that journey because you know what the end goal is. You can't scale and say, I want to be a millionaire, but I don't want to put in any work. All you're going to do then is you're going to hire people to do those jobs, and they're going to be in control of where your income is, where your growth is. You have to be hands-on at all times, but at the same time, you have to let the business grow at the rate it's growing because you've had a plan in place from day one to let that business get to that point. You can't just say, I'm going to do this, but then hire people, add on all that debt, and the revenue shows in 5 years. In 5 years, the creditors, the bankers, they're all going to come and say, where the fuck's our money? And they're not going to care whether you have a 10-year plan of, oh, well, in 10 years, I'll have this much money coming in. They don't care. At the end of the day, you have to realize revenue always has to be forecasted to beat the debt that you're accumulating, so you can at least take on what you're chewing off. You can take that on. You can't take on more than you can actually forecast for yourself, right?
Yeah. Even the best businesses out there, if you look at it, they work from the bottom up in their company. So they start like the main position, janitor, cashier, and like that's how these business owners do good because they work from the bottom up. They're not just up there shooting calls and like, okay, this is what you guys have to do, and they no clue how their business is run, right? So when you're part of the growth of your business and like working the employee hours, you know what the pros and cons are your daily life in shop, right? And then you know your growth, how it's gonna be. You can't just like predict your growth when you're not in there. You don't know how it's gonna come back at you, how it's not gonna grow, right? So some people are just do businesses, hire people on, but they have no clue how their business works, right? The daily sales, the daily customer interaction, whatever happens, sometimes it doesn't always go your way. Sometimes it'll be a slow day, but if you're just looking out from above, you're not gonna know what's actually going on. But if you go there, you know, okay, today was a slow day. How do we pick that up? But if you're just like a boss out there, like why is this slow? Why aren't we selling what we need to sell? You know. So when you work in a business, working all like know every manager's job, every employee job, you kind of know a realistic way to grow your business. Whether as your CEO is sitting in the back, why isn't it growing to what I want it to be, right?
There's a great example from Costco. I don't know where I read it, but their CEO started as like a warehouse salesperson or somewhere in the warehouse, and he worked his way up, and now he's at the top. But he knows the ins and outs of everyone, from someone who's just stocking shelves to someone who's at the top. So now he knows exactly how the organization runs. And look at Costco. They're not going out of business anytime soon. I hope they keep their hot dog prices the same, but
Oh, buddy, hot dogs, holy.
but he knows his target audience, he knows his demographic, he knows that they need to grow at a certain pace, but he knows how to handle that growth within that organization of, okay, this needs this position needs this. He has it all down pat because he was there at one point in time. And that's what makes a successful business, is someone who can go from the bottom up and live those roles as if they were doing them themselves. So you are going to have pains and grow all this when you are scaling your business, but at the end of the day, when you do open a business, that business should be your life. If you treat it like your child, you will never want to do anything that will harm that business at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and just having humility in the business, like you might be the CEO, but is it worth your time to go down, talk to the salespeople, talk to the front desk, and see what's going on? Like you mentioned, the Costco CEO. That's a great example of worked his way up, understood what it was like to be a cashier, understood what it meant to stock the shelves. But yeah, you look at a lot of big corporations, and the disconnects comes from the upper levels and the lower levels being in completely two separate places. And you wonder why stuff doesn't get done. Like if you've ever maybe gone to like a business where the front desk will say something and they say, oh, sorry, it might not follow through because of X, Y, and Z in corporate. And you realize that's just a disconnect. And just having the humility to be in and amongst the entire business, no part of the business is too low or too lesser of you. You just got to get in there and be active.
And that's a life lesson too, right? You should never think of yourself, okay, I'm a CEO, I've got this, right? I've got that. I'm up here on the societal hierarchy, right? Yeah, you may be up here on societal hierarchy in terms of where you are in life, but at the end of the day, we're all still human at the end of the day. Always act and not even portray, be that person who thinks of themselves as down here. Be humble, be grateful for what you have, because if you can live your life at the means that it takes to be down here, there will be nothing in life that could bring you down to make you feel like you're lesser than you are, because you treat yourself as everyone else should. I'm here. There's nothing in my life that can take me to be here. I could be a multi-million-dollar recording artist. I could be a movie actor. I could be a CEO. But at the end of the day, if I treat myself like the person who is locking up the doors at the end of the night, or if I'm treating myself as the janitor at the end of the night, nothing's going to bring you down. Nothing's going to hold you back from realizing the true goal of what you're doing is you're trying to make your dreams come true, and you're not trying to let anything else come in the way of that. So when you are scaling, you have to realize that not everything's going to go to plan, not everything's going to be amazing, but at the end of the day, if you are down here, you know everything that's going on within your business. So any curveball that's thrown your way, you're going to knock it out of the park because you know everything that needs to be done to get over that hurdle.
That's what they say. Treat the janitor like you would treat a CEO.
100%.
Share the respect, because they work. It's their business too, right? They're working their hours too. They're part of the business. Yeah, they might not be the most special there, but they're still keeping it clean. And who the hell wants to go to a dirty ass restaurant? Right?
Exactly.
The janitor sometimes is the most important job. How many times you sit at a table and it's like, oh, there's stains on, like, what the fuck? I don't eat my food here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even if you're going to the washroom, you see a dirty washroom, you're like, oh, this building's nasty. I don't want to step foot in it again. So that's one of the most important jobs out there, right?
Yeah. Well, not being bigger than your business, right?
Yeah. But that also goes back into, like, how Karn was saying, you gotta, like, have realistic expectations of what you expect for your business. Some people just open up business as an investment. You just want to pull like a salary out of there. But some people like us, not us, like for us, for example, we're trying to brand this thing, grow it huge, right? But when we originally just thought of it as an investment,
Yeah.
right? That was our first goal with this. But then we put hours in, okay, no, fuck this. This is going to be our thing. We're going to brand this thing. We're going to have our own following. We're going to do a lot of things with this, right? But a lot of people just have businesses with just an investment, want to pull a little salary out there. So you just got to be realistic what you want with your business.
And if that's what you want to do, you have to realize that you want to pull a salary out, you're going to have to treat yourself like an employee. You want to scale it to a point where you don't want to just be another employee on the salary, then you have to put in the work. You have to be an employee for 5-6 years before you can start taking it easy and take a step back.
100%. Because like even when you do hire, why do you hire? You hire so you can get some time back, right? And when you do hire and you're getting that time back, it doesn't mean you sit back and kick your legs up.
No.
That means you
It
work
gets
on
even
things-
harder.
Yeah, exactly. You work on things that you weren't able to work on before because you were on the front lines. So, example, when we first started our business, we were there all the time, all day, every day, 15 hours a day, working in the store. After we finish, go upstairs to the gym, work out, talk to more and more people, come down, check us out, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, first ever hire, second ever hire. What did we do then? We hired them, and then, of course, was it nice to have them there to actually, like, you know,
So you
could
could get
actually
time.
breathe a little bit? Yeah, it was. It was awesome. I was like, oh my God, okay, a little bit of breathing room. Even now thinking about it, holy shit, I can actually breathe a little bit even thinking about it.
Yeah, but in turn, look what that did mentally.
Exactly.
Your mental load is twice as much, right?
Exactly. So just because now you hired someone, it's like, okay, Dad, now I got employees. Now I'm a business owner. No, you're fucking not. You are not. I'm sorry. Unless like, yeah, now you're just looking to pull out a little bit of money every single month or whatever it is. Okay, then yeah, maybe mission is accomplished. But the main thing from that is, okay, now that I bought back time, because I'm not on the front lines every day, I'm not working, helping customers, I'm not selling, that sort of thing. What am I doing? Okay, well, now maybe I'm working on a marketing strategy. Now I'm maybe working on different strategies to start my business. Maybe that's opening up another location. Maybe that's opening up online, just like ourselves. But the main thing is, just because you're not in your physical location actually working, and you've hired someone to do that, well, now you've just bought yourself time in order to work on your business now. Now all of a sudden, instead of working in your business, you're working on your business. So now you got to strategize how you're going to be able to grow from there, right? It doesn't just mean, like, I'm going to say it again, it doesn't mean that you can kick your feet up and just relax. Because I'm sorry, at some point you are going to plateau and you're going to wonder, where am I going wrong? And that might be 3 months, 4 months, 5-6 months down the road where money's starting to get a little bit slim. Whereas you could have done it at the beginning and you could have compounded. Now you could have hired 2-3 more people. Maybe you could have hired a marketing person because you were actually working on your business, because you bought back time from working in your business.
And that's where you're starting to let the debt collect without forecasting of how you're going to make the revenues go up. And that's what it is. People think, okay, now my business is self-sufficient, it's running on its own. But at the end of the day, your costs have also gone up astronomically. Your employee cost has gone up. Your cost for doing business is probably going to go up because you're not looking at every single detail and trying to save money wherever you can. You're putting that in someone else's hands. And as much as you'd like to say they are doing their best, they are doing their best, but at the end of the day, it's still not their money going out of that business. It's your money going out of the business. So you still have to forecast for that. You have to grow alongside that, where, okay, now you're at a point, your business is self-sufficient. Now, how do I go where I can offset employee costs by getting my revenue up? How can I offset costs based off of higher inventory costs, higher costs that you're not making as many savings on your purchase orders, whatever that may be? You have to offset that by increasing revenue. How do you do that? That's how you do it. You are hands off on the actual operations, but now you have to put in more time, I feel. And that's the thing. People don't understand that when your business is successful, you're actually spending more time, more resources within your own head, which takes a bigger toll on you as a person to actually try and scale that business. When you're just in the shop, you're just focusing on the there, now, I'm present. I can focus on everything that's going to go into it today, tomorrow. But you don't have to focus on, okay, my costs have gone up. Now I have to focus on getting the revenue up. You're happy with it because you're saving on employee costs, you're saving as many dollars as possible, but you're not having to actually grow the business alongside the debt collecting. And we've been talking about that this whole time now, right? So you have to realize that getting to a point in business to be able to take the foot off the gas a little doesn't mean your stress is gone. You'll probably be more stressed out. You'll probably have less time on your hands because you have more time to focus on the things that are going to scale your business to that next level, whatever that may be. For us right now, we just got online, so we got our employees. They're putting in more hours at the shop, so we're there less. But now we're so focused on the online store, I feel like we're spending more time than we were at the first few weeks, and more stress because we are trying to scale to the next level.
Yeah, but then again, when you on that note, like employees, like they mean a lot, right? Because employees are extra debt in a way. So you gotta train your employees, right? Going back to what George said last episode, you gotta treat your employees right. Because when you're not there, they're there, and if they're not doing a good job, no way you're gonna grow, right? And what's the point of paying someone, losing money out if your sales aren't going up?
100%. Like when you have employees, honestly, I said it, I hate using the word employee, but
it's a family.
Yeah, it's a family. Be a part of the team. Like, coexist with them. If you have hired the right people, they will know that you're the boss, and obviously they will treat you as such, right? If there's reminders where, everyone can sometimes get a little bit ahead of themselves and maybe, forget who's who, then you remind them. At the end of the day, it's your business. You let them know what it is. But at the end of the day, like, if you work hand in hand with them and they see you in the grind doing the damn thing, they will step it up. I mean, monkey see, monkey do. It's the oldest saying of all time, but it is just that. And we've seen it with ourselves, because there's certain things that you can teach. You can teach people to do certain things, but someone's only going to feel the way they feel about a certain aspect of, especially about caring about your business the way that you care about it, is if they see it for themselves. Right? Like, there's certain things you can teach. You can get someone to be the best at operations of how to do certain things, and they're bang on, and they could just behave like a robot. But teaching someone how to care, how do you do that? Honestly, I feel like you can't really teach that thing, but they can learn it. They can learn it from seeing it through you.
The person at the top will always set the culture for the entire organization. So you have a CEO. If an employee sees the CEO getting $500K a year, but they're just sitting in meetings all day, they don't give a shit about what anyone at the bottom tier is doing, they will not work as hard. It's the sad truth, but that's on you as a business owner. A CEO in any new business is you. If I'm not going to put in the work to teach my staff, my employees, the culture, you're pretty much making a small family out of your business. If that family needs to run properly, it has to come from the top down. And the person at the top, when you're growing up, that's your mom and dad. They set your foundations of who you are as a person from day one. You treat your business like that. Like, I have to everyone in the business is pretty much, not only is a business a child to you, your employees are children to you. You have to set the standards that you expect to see in your business. Otherwise, it's going to go off the rails. You're going to have upset customers. You're going to have upset employees. You're not going to be able to wrangle that in if you decide to do that 6 years into a business. You have to do it from day one. You have to carry that from day one onwards. Even if you're a multi-million-dollar business where everything's going right for you, you still have to care for the person who's at the bottom. You have to care. You have to wholeheartedly care. I'm not saying be superficial about it. You have to wholeheartedly care for your business like it is your family. And when scaling comes about, it's the same thing. If you're growing, the person at the bottom is going to have more work to handle. The person who's here has more to handle. You have more to handle. But you have to start with a bottom-up approach. You're only going to grow as much as your weakest link. At the end of the day, you have a weak link in that chain's going to break real fast. It's a sad truth.
And the only reason you hire employees is for growth. And if you're not there and they're like, say they're fucking around, not doing the best, like you're not going to grow. You might think you're growing, but you're not. That's the added expense.
Yeah, and I think what you guys just talked about as well, your business demonstrates almost to the point. Like when I look at your guys' employees as a third party, like they carry on what you guys want to represent very, very well.
Thank you so much. Shout out to the team.
Shout out to the Supplement House team, man. No, one of the biggest things, like even your guys' focus on education, putting your employees through a test of education. Not only are you good at sales, are you presentable to customers, but you guys actually know what the fuck you're talking about. And carrying on that, you guys, everything that you guys teach them, you guys know as well, and making sure that they translate what it means to be a Supplement House employee, super important.
That goes to any business. Like if you're hiring as even if like a front clerk at your receptionist, say physio clinic or whatever, your front clerk should at least know the minimum about each, like a chiropractor, physiotherapist. At least should know a little bit about their schedule instead of just coming there and be like, oh, I don't know, let me check. Yeah. You know, they should at least know the minimum requirements. That way, if you're coming in as a customer, you know where you can fit in.
And you're trying to set up everyone within your organization for growth. When it comes to the supplement shop, we'll use that as an example because that's easy for the three of us. We're not setting them up for success just at the supplement shop. We want them to go on, do big things with their own lives. And they come to us, they say to us all the time, like, you know what, when we came into here, we were shy, we were this, we were that. But you guys helped us break out of that shell. And for us, that's where the human aspect of business comes into play, where when you scale, you are going to have employee turnover, this or that, which is your previous employees are setting that standard of care, that culture within that organization, which came from us. So at the end of the day, you're not trying to lock someone into just working for you. You're trying to make them grow as a person, and you want them to do better than you do. And when you have that mindset, you won't attract enemies. You will only attract people who look out for you as much as you look out for them. Because at the end of the day, I can have an employee who I try and I know he's destined for that next big thing, but if I just keep pushing him down and saying, I don't know, this or that, whatever, that person's going to slowly start to like have resentment towards you. Like, I could have followed my dreams, this or that. But when you have an organization where every person in that organization knows I can grow beyond this, and you feel happy for them deep down, you will have an organization that may have a lot of turnover because people are accomplishing a lot more, but people coming into the organization will understand that, and they will put in that extra effort to make sure they can get to that point as well.
Yeah. Like you said, like resentment, you don't want resentment to build up because there's your weak link. When you have an employee that's resentful towards the ownership, you know, maybe some things don't happen that were supposed to happen, or things happen that weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
And making sure that, okay, so an employee only stays for 2 years and they move forward. If they were a good employee, you just got a great employee for 2 years, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to recommend to all their friends and everybody else looking that, hey, these guys were awesome employers. If you need a job for the next year or two and want to grow very well, like, there's the place to do it.
Exactly. Like, we have employees come to us and say, you know what, we want to open another franchise. And we see that as, okay, that's a growth for the supplement house at the end of the day. But it also means they're growing as individuals as well, right? So you see that coming from within your organization, and people have such a big attachment to that organization itself.
Creating a culture.
You're creating that culture, and whether that's a franchise for them, they're still getting on their way to becoming business owners, but they learn from our ways of, okay, you always want to see that next person excel. And it goes back to a podcast, the first one that I came on, it was always leave a piece of the pie on the table for that next person. Once you do that, whether you're selling something, whether that's your employees, any part of your life, if you help that person who's in your life get to that next point in their life, they will always be thankful for it. You will never have someone say something bad about you if you're helping that person get to that next stage of their life.
Absolutely. Karin and I were actually talking about this on the car ride here. It's don't worry about slicing the pie up in a certain direction. If you're concerned about that, just go get a bigger pie and slice it up like that. Like, do you want to be
That's what Jazz O'Brien said, right?
Absolutely. Do you want to be fighting over a small pie, or do you just want to give a bigger slice of the pie away, and it's still everybody's still winning more at the end of the day?
Exactly.
Going forward, what are those little chocolate bars you got there, buddy?
Thank God I've been looking at these for the last hour, man. I haven't ate since breakfast. So what we have here is, yet again, if you didn't realize, we are from Canada, so we don't get a lot of American treats or drinks or whatever it may be. I don't know, like Prime took like a year to get into Canada. These are Mr. Beast. I don't know if you've heard of him. His chocolate bars, Feastables. And I was actually just dropping off a package at the post office, and they had them there. So
I wish he came here, man. You know when he goes to Walmart or whatever, and he gives like, do you know Beastables? I'll give you $10,000. I want a quick little 10K.
Absolutely. Yeah. So absolutely. So I'm a big proponent of people coming in or businesses coming in and disrupting the industry. So you look at chocolate, it's Hershey's and that
Cadbury,
and that
yeah.
takes up probably 80-90% of the market.
If you look at supplements, you know, you got your big names out there, and then you got the supplement house trying to make a name. So
supplementhouse.ca.
Same time. I love it. Supplementhouse.ca.
You guys gotta jinx each other. Karin's been mute for a little bit now anyways.
Okay, we're going to do peanut butter at the same time, and then we're going to do milk chocolate at the same time. That's peanut butter.
I'm just gonna have the milk chocolate.
Bro, I was going to split this with you. I was telling you. Connor, what was that? Okay, Arvin, here.
I don't want more.
Fucking good.
I'm not a big chocolate guy.
Oh, it's good.
This is like a Reese's Pieces.
It's got like a wafer in there, right?
No, you had the milk chocolate.
No, you got the crisp.
That's the milk chocolate.
Well, this one's good, man. Kind of reminded me of my childhood, the Crunch Bar.
Just reminded me of trick or treating.
When's the last time you went trick or treating? It was
Fuck.
probably like grade 8.
No,
I got yelled at by one of the parents, and then
I think mine was
never
grade
went
12.
again.
They're not rich. Just eat blood, bro.
Oh, that milk crunch? What's that one?
Milk chocolate.
You had milk crunch, right?
Yeah, Milk Crunch was killer.
Why do I always get the fat bitch pieces?
Because you're breaking them off.
I don't know, bro. What's in the fucking order, man?
Also, side note, guys, Connor over here is trying to become fluent in Punjabi. We're trying our best, but any tips and tricks for him to learn quick, we are open to it.
Yeah, I've downloaded multiple apps, and for some reason Punjabi is not on them. So any tips or tricks help, greatly appreciate it. Arvin actually gave me a great tip too, is watch music videos with the English subtitles. I think that's a great idea.
All right, Feastables, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
They're pretty good, man.
Fuck, these are great.
Milk chocolate crunch,
Pretty
and
phenomenal.
peanut butter chocolate.
Just keeping the big businesses on their toes, man. Big businesses don't innovate, and when you have products like this,
Honestly, man, you're thinking of
It's
starting a
good.
chocolate business too. You're going to get Feastable, Hershey's. You can do it. I'm not saying that you're going to be as big as Hershey or,
You could be.
You could be, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying off the bat. That's what I was going to say, off the bat. You probably won't be. But
Stick to
I will
it.
put it this way. Yeah, like you said.
Scale.
Scale. Stick with it. The main thing is, what a lot of people miss is when you're starting a company and you think you're going up with the big guys, like we said before, you're not. You honestly aren't. Get that out of your head. First and foremost, think of your customer. If you're starting a store in Surrey, you're starting a store in frickin' Brampton, in Edmonton, Calgary, Seattle, wherever, man.
Saskatoon,
Thank you.
Medicine Hat.
Thank you.
Northwest Territories.
Okotoks.
That's territory.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yellowknife.
Thanks, guys.
None of
White
it.
Horse.
Okay. Where are you going up against?
Quebec
guys,
City.
is more so people in that community. Put the community first. Put the people that shop in the community first. Think about them first. What language do they speak? What do they like? What's selling Canada-wide or United States-wide may not be what's selling in your city. And you got to find out what that is or what's making them come shop with you. Figure that out first. Because I bet you what, the national companies like the Hershey's of the world, or even for us, the big national brands that sell supplements, they're worried about the entire country. While you're just worried about your city where you live in. Start doing the small things first. Focus on the small things. Do the small things better than the bigger companies are doing. Do the smaller things a lot better than the bigger companies are doing the small things. Because the thing is, the small things that they're focused on, they're probably not even doing it at all. So when those small things start to compound and you start getting better and better and better, and you're scaling and scaling, then now all of a sudden you've become a big problem for these bigger companies. Then you're going up against them. But that may take 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years to do.
Buy me out for a few $100 million.
And exactly, then there's buyouts in nature, whatever it is. But
Master your craft.
It's like Farhad put that example with Mike Amiri.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, he spent 10 years on his clothing line, and he's one of the biggest names and
$400 million.
yeah, biggest names in men's fashion.
And wasn't he like 40 or something when he popped off? That way, age is just a number, guys. No matter how old you are, where you're from, you can start a business anytime, and it can change your life.
And if you got anything from this episode, guys, please share it. If you got a friend that's trying to start a business and you think you have input, but really you don't, you just tell them to either do it or don't do it, why you think it's a good idea or bad idea. Honestly, support your friend. And if you want to support them, what better way than to share our episode with them?
But be honest with them.
Yeah.
Always be honest.
Yeah, always be honest. And you may have that input, but honestly, if you honestly listen to this episode and you're like, holy shit, I didn't know this, or this, then honestly, sometimes you may not have the input to actually give proper advice. But without being selfish, guys, if you like this episode, share it.
And if you have any advice,
Like and subscribe.
yeah, like it. But if you have any advice you think we didn't share and you want to share, reach out to us. We would love to have you on. And if you can like join the conversation, you have someone interested in this, we're always willing to.
Connor, what's the email?
housetalksmedia@gmail.com. Reach out to us on Instagram, House Talks Podcast. Send us a DM.
We started 2 podcasts after our guests came on, by the way.
Yeah.
Maybe we suck and they think you do better. But whatever the case may be, do what you got to do.
Appreciate you all, you guys. Thank you for listening. And until next time, be good.